What's the biggest failure factor of modern day relationships?
Women want men to fix their problem. This guy can fix my problem. I'm attracted to him. If this guy already has his own problems, I don't want to be like a shoulder for him to cry on. That's why men don't talk to anyone. They're like, bro, I would rather shoot myself than talk to anyone else, because that's what the reality is. Men are killing themselves more often. He should be making this amount of money. He should have this house. He should have this car. He should be living in this way. The first 4 or 5 things are all going to be materialistic.
The divorce rate is in Indian Pakistan is 1%.
Some girls nowadays are like, I want everything from you, but you can't expect anything from me. Men want women to listen to them, but women don't want to listen to them.
Well, you can't generalize it to all of it.
No, I'm not generalizing it.
Why do you think relationships today are failing? Like, what's the biggest failure factor of modern day relationships?
I think it has to do with expectations.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody has like different expectations, and like some expectations are so crazy that like you're like, that is never gonna work. Let's just say like sometimes like I'm dating a girl. Some girls nowadays are like, I want everything from you, but you can't expect anything from me. Like, we've seen girls like that. And
but do you think that's the majority?
That's not majority, but that's what's being normalized right now.
Like, how is it?
Girls are, okay, let's just say girls, you talk to girls, they immediately say, oh, I want 6 foot, I want this, 6 figures, this. And if you say something similar, like, okay, I want a girl who's like under certain weight, immediately they start like a brawl. It's not equal. It's what expectations. That's what like crazy. If you expect something crazy, you should also be able to bring the similar kind of craziness to the table. Like some girls, like let's just say, who say like, okay, don't expect anything from me. Let's just say there's like a tissue paper. Okay, I expect this tissue to wipe my tears when I'm crying, when I'm sad, and this is just a thing. And you are a human. You're telling me like this thing, I can expect more from this thing than from you. You're a human. You should bring more to the table than this tissue paper. You're saying like you're that useless that I can't expect anything from you. Like, so it starts with expectations, and then like.
So wait, are you saying that? So then, are you saying having expectations is fine, but having like very high expectations when you yourself?
I'm saying reciprocate.
Okay.
If I expect you to do something, I will also like, I need to bring something on the table. If I like a girl and I was like, you need to do this, you need to do that, I also need to do this.
So when is it acceptable for a girl to say that, oh, I want someone who has 6 figures, who's super tall, who looks like this? When is it acceptable for that girl to be saying? How should the girl be then?
The girl, if I'm asking, if a girl asks for like 6 figures, okay, are you making 6 figures? If she says yes, then you deserve that. If she says no, then you're asking someone for something you can't even do. That seems a little unfair. So let's just say you want someone with 6 figures. Okay, fine. But whatever then he demands from you, you should be able to bring that to the table.
And then
let's just say like if she says like, I want this guy with 6 figures, and he says, okay, cool, I have 7 figures, but I need you to take care of my house. Oh my God, I'm not your maid. What is this? You can't even do that? Like, so don't like, that's what I'm talking about. Expectations part. Either it's not like equal or it's not like reciprocated.
Okay, what if so how do you then feel about, the guy is working, having 6 figures or not, whatever, he's working, but the girl also is working and contributing. So then what is the role of, just generally, what is the role of a girl and a guy in a relationship?
That depends on their partnership.
Okay.
Like they can talk mutually and they can agree on certain things, because if they're both working, then obviously none of them can stay home. Then if they're both working, they both can afford to keep a housekeeper who can look after the house, who can do all the chores and stuff. So that's a lifestyle they can afford. But if they can't afford, then one of them has to stay home and like do the other part. If let's just say a girl is making more than a guy, then for a guy to say नहीं तुम घर पे बैठ, I can speak in Urdu.
Yeah, it's fine.
नहीं तुम घर पे बैठो और मैं बाहर जाके काम कर रहा हूँ, मैं जाके बाहर 50,000 कमा दो तो भी 6 लाख की जॉब छोड़ दो. That does not make any sense. So the guy needs to find someone like at his own level, which is not a bad thing, but guys take it as an offense. No, ये क्या है मेरा level, I'm a guy. ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. If a girl makes more than you, let her find someone of her own like realm.
But do you think that that's not happening these days? Like, what is wrong with society?
Everything is wrong with society. So much that whatever I'm gonna say right now, if I say the same things 10 years like prior, or like 15 years, everyone would have been like, duh, yeah, sure, that's how it's supposed to be. But now I say it, I think the world's just like lost its mind. Everyone's just going crazy. Everyone's like, we want this, we want that, we want this. And no one's getting whatever they want, and everyone's just going crazy. They're all shitting on each other. They're all hating on each other. You hear women saying, men ain't shit, men are this. You hear men saying like, oh, women are this, women are for the streets. Everyone's just hating each other. No one's getting what they want. No, because no one's ready to compromise. Because that's what a relationship is. Believe it or not, like, it's never going to be like, oh, everything's perfect. You have to compromise.
So what are women saying about men and what are men saying about women? Like, I know you were like, but like, can you develop that a little further?
One thing that I like personally dislike that women say about men is like, if you ask an average girl, an average Dubai girl, an average New York girl, like, hey, what do you want in a man? The first thing that she starts with is like, he should be making this amount of money. He should have this house. He should have this car. He should be living in this way. The first 4 or 5 things are all going to be materialistic. Then it starts with something like, okay, now I want to be able to live alone with him. Then it's going to be the rest 3 things are going to be about herself. By the end of the list, they're going to be like, okay, you know what? He should be loyal too. Maybe he should be honest too. And then they think about this. Then you have to think about, okay, what else do I want in him? But the other things are like, oh, money, this, car, house, blah, blah, blah. That's what they want. That's what they prioritize. And later on, when guys like these, because they have all this, let's just label them as winners. They have all the money, all the cars. When they have all these things, they don't care about girls. Because to them, like, it's one girl's going to go, another one's going to come because I'm a winner. So when they treat you like shit, later you go on and complain about like, oh, he treated me like shit, because you prioritize materialistic things in the beginning. If you had prioritized like a characteristic features, like, okay, he's a loyal person, he's an honest person, you would never be in this place of hurt. Maybe you'd be like in a place of financial difficulty, which you can overcome eventually together as a team. But you prioritize like materialistic things, and then you end up getting hurt. And then you blame men, and then you say all men this, all men that. Obviously, you're going to say men. What are you dating someone else? Yeah. And with men, it's the same thing. They want like, it's hard to say for men because like guys want different things, and it's difficult to understand.
Must be something generic that guys are
They
these days.
they want women to turn their house that they built into a home, and that's what most girls do not want to do nowadays because of this stupid superpower they think they have that's called feminism. They're like, oh, we don't belong in the kitchen. We're not putting you in the kitchen. If you're feeding my belly, your husband's belly, if you love him, how is that like you being a maid? That's another thing. You tell a girl, like, a girl's gonna say like, yeah, I want 6 figures, I want this, I want that, I want this. You see like a man starting to say like, I want you to take care of the house, I want you to take care of the kids, like maybe just cook for me and stuff. The term that they use always is, am I your wife or am I your maid? This maid word always comes in. Are you looking for a wife or are you looking for a maid? You will never hear a man say, am I your husband or am I your bodyguard? Am I your husband or am I your driver? Am I your husband or am I your ATM machine? Am I your husband or like, am I your delivery boy or am I your like free food voucher? You never hear like a man say that. He knows it's his responsibility. That's what he's supposed to do. So he does that without complaint. But you hear girls like, oh, am I your wife? Am I your maid? If guys start acting similar to girls, honestly, like, divorce rates are like 55% now. They will be 100%. Nobody will be happy. Nobody will like live together. You're telling me divorce is 55%? There's like half a chance this marriage is gonna end in divorce? Nobody.
It's in America. That's not in the world. You know what the divorce rate is in India and Pakistan? It's crazy.
It's worse.
Guess it. Guess what's the divorce rate in India?
I saw this one post that said 97%.
Divorce rate?
No, that was Portugal. Sorry, that was Portugal.
No, but
I don't know how much is it.
the divorce rate of India and Pakistan is 1%. So 99% of marriages don't end up in divorce.
I find that hard to believe.
You can Google it.
I would say that has something to do with like the family like reputation. People don't like tell about divorces because they're like, oh, family reputation is gonna get hurt. Because how many divorced people you know? You know a lot, right?
No, I don't know.
I know a lot of divorced people. They're from India, but
yeah, but like, oh, a lot. This is biased because we just know a few people from like our family friends, so we think, oh, there's a lot of divorces. What I do think about this percentage, I mean, we know the population of India and Pakistan, right? It's in the billions. So 1% of that billion is already a lot of people.
yeah, exactly.
But what this shows what's more alarming is that there's not a lot of divorces because people are probably staying in marriages even though they
should leave. Yeah,
could leave.
that's worse actually.
Yeah, that's worse. That's what I get surprised when I see this percentage, because in the US, it's like 50%, half of marriages end up in divorce. In Pakistan and India, 1% of marriages end up in divorce.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might have something to do with like family reputation, because like they would rather stay in an abusive marriage than like be divorced and like, oh, family ke naam pe ye padega, wo padega.
Yeah.
You just stay in that.
So, for instance, mental health is a big problem amongst men.
It is.
People don't know about it, but a lot more men are depressed than women.
Yeah.
But men are diagnosed less than women. That's because men probably don't talk about it. They don't want to go to the doctor and check.
Because that's nobody's going to listen to us. If the day I'm depressed, I call my friend. I'm like, bro, like I'm depressed. He's gonna laugh at me. Oh man, stop being a pussy. Like, you're a man up. That's the feedback we get from guys. And if we talk to girls, they start looking at us like, oh, what a weakling. And this such harsh reality of world. I need a strong man. This guy is crying just because he had a bad day. I don't want to be with him anymore. This stuff scares men. So they don't want to talk because they know no one's going to listen to us. If a woman speaks out, oh, I'm having a bad day, 10 guys are going to line up. Oh, let me take you out. Let me show you a good day. Let me do that. If a guy says like this, he's going to start becoming a woman repellent. Women are like, oh shit, I don't want this guy. He's already having issues. He's not going to be able to fix my issues. He's not going to be able to fix my problems. Everybody has problems, but women want men to fix their problems. And that's how like they are attracted to him. Like if this guy can fix my problem, I'm attracted to him. If this guy already has his own problems, I don't want to be like a shoulder for him to cry on. No, I want someone to fix my problems first. That's why men don't talk to anyone. They're like, bro, I would rather shoot myself than talk to anyone else, because that's what the reality is. Men are killing themselves more often. Men die 3-4 times more than women do every single day.
So one thing that you said, that the thing with men is that when they try to talk about their feelings, other men are like, man out. Like, what are you doing? Right? So that's what I'm trying to say. When I understand the whole point about like feminism becoming too extreme, that's fine. If we just eliminate that, okay? My problem is that men are hating on women's issues because they're saying that why don't people care about men? Why aren't people talking about men's issues? But men themselves should be united to talk about those issues. The reason why we started talking about women's issues is because women stood up and started talking about them. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the reason, like I said, if I tell another guy, like, bro, like I'm depressed or something, and he would be like, just man up, because he is scared too inside. That is just a shield.
Yeah, I understand that.
The thing is,
so don't you think that's the problem?
Primarily, men want women to listen to them, but women don't want to listen to them.
But you can't generalize it to all of them.
No, I'm not generalizing. Okay, I'm not saying all women. Whatever point I'm making is like most. I'm going to say most women are like this.
Okay. The thing is, like, because one thing that we know, what are women good at and what are men good at? We know that women are naturally good at nurturing, at caretaking, at bringing,
they have a warmth that can like literally make anyone feel better. A child, an elderly, a partner, or a sibling.
Exactly.
Women have that. I would go to my mom. When you go through a rough patch, you don't think about, oh man, I wish my dad was here. You start thinking about your mom. Oh man, my mom, like, oh, she used to like care for me. Women have that kind of like warmth and the superpower, you could say.
So that's why I'm saying, why do you say that women don't want to listen when
they have that capability, but they don't use it. They have that, but they don't want to. The only woman that actually cares about you, regardless of anything, without you providing anything, is your mother. Your sister's gonna have a husband someday. Your daughter's gonna like move out someday. The only person that does not want any benefit from you is your mother. That's the only woman that's gonna listen to you. But you cannot speak to her either, because that's gonna worry her, and you don't want to worry your mom. So you can't. That's the thing. That's the loophole men are stuck in. We can't speak to women. It's only gonna bite us in the back, and we're like, okay, you know what? Let's just suck it up.
But do you think that, like, if you for instance, if you have a partner and you actually genuinely try to open, because most of the issue that I'm seeing is not truly what I've seen, is that it's not that women aren't listening, it's that men don't open up to
it's
women.
Because of the history of betrayal that they've been through. Like, no guy is born with like, okay, I'm born, I'm not going to talk to a woman ever. No, they've tried that once or twice or multiple times in their life, and every single time, I'm telling you, they might have regretted it. There are some guys who talk to women that means because they've had like pleasant experiences. Maybe their sister like listens to them. Maybe the partner they're with listens to them, because I'm not saying like all girls. Most girls are like that. So maybe they are fortunate enough like to be with someone who listens to them. But most of the time, it ends up disappointing you. It ends up biting you in the back, and like it just scares you. Like, okay, I don't want to talk to girls ever again. There's a very beautiful poem. It's an Arabic poem, but I'll translate it in English. It says like, happy, sadness is mine, happiness is yours. Pain is mine, joy is yours, but you are mine. I go out there, I do all the suffering, I go through all the stress and everything, but at the end of the day, I get you in your innocence. I get you to be with me. So that's not, this thing does not come biologically. This doesn't say in biology, like, since you're a man, you have to go out there and suffer. But we are expected to do that. Because it's our love that we don't want our women to do that. But this is taken in a wrong way. Oh, you're just trying to control me, aren't you? You're that guy. Women don't understand that this is like some hidden agenda of like, I don't know, higher ups, that they want the women to be empowered so that they can raise your children at school, because they're the ones who are like setting the syllabus in schools. So if there's no parent at home to raise the kid, the schools are raising the children. And who controls the schools? It's the higher ups, and they can put whatever they want in your syllabus. You've seen in America, like they're pushing like LGBTQ stuff, the queer stuff, and kids' faces in schools.
Yeah,
because both the parents are working.
It's gonna confuse them if they grow up.
Like, absolutely, and then they grow up, they're like, "Dad, it's fine, it's cool, this is normal," and the parents are like, "What the hell?" Because there was no parent like present at the time of their raising. So that's what we try to say. Like, okay, let's just. The mom should stay at home and take care of the child. I'll go out there and suffer. But the feminism thing has ruined their mind so much. They're like, oh no, I need to fight this. He's trying to control me. He's trying to like keep me at like, he thinks like he's better than me. And it's like, that's also one reason like marriages end up in.
The thing is like, I understand that there's that extreme happening, but I just don't agree with why women started talking like that. Because at least I'm only talking about our culture. Okay, whatever in the West, like they don't have any problems. They create problems like this whole whatever nonsense. But if we talk about our culture, the reason girls started realizing that, we should also stand up for ourselves. We should also earn. We should also not be fully dependent on the guy was because they saw their mothers, their grandmothers stuck in relationships they didn't want to be in. They were in relationships where they were abused or they were mistreated, and the woman couldn't do anything because they were just stuck in that relationship. That's why women are like, we don't want to be controlled like that. We want to be with the person because we genuinely want to be with them, not because we are financially, paid to do with them.
Being independent, empowering women is fine. If that's what feminism is about, then it's totally fine. I agree with that 100%. You should like make yourself independent, but feminism has turned into something else. It's not about women empowerment anymore. It's about shitting on men. That's what it's about now. It's like, oh, I can make money, I don't need you anymore. No, that's not what it is supposed to be. I can make money, so let's build a family together. That's what feminism should be. Like, it's about equality, right? So guys suffer out there a lot. You don't need to do all the suffering anymore. I'm a strong, independent woman. I can work too. I can help you out too, so you can stress a little less. Let me carry a little bit. You can carry a little bit. That's what partnership is about. So we can build a home, a family together.
Yeah, I think any kind of ideology that's promoting hatred towards men in general is obviously wrong. Like that is like obvious. The same goes for men. I know there's a lot of men who hate on women. Even now when you're passionately talking about women, it does seem like you are hating on women.
I don't hate women. I just want them to love us back the way we love them.
Okay, so exactly. Even though you're not hating women, but you are bashing women in a way where you're like, women are like this, women are toxic.
I'm not all women. I would bash the wrong men just like how I'm bashing like the wrong woman.
Okay, that's what I would appreciate.
If you're a right woman, if you respect a man, if you respect your father enough to not go out and yell, "Oh, fuck, man, men ain't shit." You're like, no, I have a father. I'm not gonna go out and say women are like for the streets, bro. I have a mother. I have a sister. Someday I'm gonna have a daughter. I can't say stuff like this.
Exactly.
I'm just talking about men and women who've lost their minds.
Yes.
just because of like just because it's being normalized, just because it's fun or hip. My dad said one thing to me when I was growing up. He said, it's in Urdu. He said, "Ye nahi dekho kaun keh raha hai, ye dekho kya keh raha hai."
Because what you were saying about the problem with relationships today is expectations.
Yeah,
So what I'm trying to say is that the problem with relationships is not expectations. It's having harsh or unrealistic
expectations. Yeah,
that you don't reciprocate, as you said.
yeah,
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
So the problem is not sacrificing enough or compromising.
Exactly. Everything, like you believe you have to work hard on your relationship or marriage, right? Let's just change the relationship into business. You have to work hard, right? At your business, you need to make it successful. That means you need to sacrifice sleep, you need to sacrifice parties, you need to sacrifice friendships and whatnot to make it work. Just like that, in a relationship, you need to sacrifice a lot of things. And that's what people are not ready for.
Obviously, character is the most important part of any relationship. Are you even compatible with that person?
Exactly.
As a personality? Can you imagine that person being like the parent of your children? Like, would they be does that person actually have those traits and characteristics? So 100%. My only thing was why I mentioned the financials was because I do think it should be a part of your list.
It is important. Yeah.
You should not remove that. I don't think that should be removed from your list, but it should not, as you were saying,
it shouldn't start with it. The list shouldn't start with that.
Yeah, but it should still be a part of your
list. Is crazy. Yeah, we do need money.
Yeah, like I think it's kind of crazy to
good lifestyle. And people say like, oh, money can't buy you happiness. I think that's false. Money doesn't actually buy you happiness. Money buys you the freedom to be happy.
Girls in brown households are raised to always hear the word compromise and sacrifice.
I've seen this happening over and over, even in my house. When the middle children are like ignored, they strive for attention. So they do things differently. And somehow, for some reason, out of all the siblings, the middle one is always the most developed one. He's the most capable one. He has like, he or she, it could be either way. They're different from the others. They seem different. They look different. They move different. They talk different. Everything about them is different. So I'll talk about like a middle child in a brown household. Or let's just talk about a boy in a brown household. So when you grow up, in the beginning, you get all the privileges. Because, oh, it's a ladka hai, ladka paida. You're born, everyone's happy. It's a boy, yes, it's a boy, yes. Oh, you're such a man to like give birth to a boy. Like it's a weird thing that happens. Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Such a man to give birth to a boy?
Yeah, if you give birth to a girl, they're like, oh, you're probably not that strong enough. It's a weird thing that happens among brown people. They're uneducated.
Okay, I didn't know that.
It's among uneducated people. It doesn't happen in my family. I'm just saying I've seen this happen.
Yeah, I think both daughters and sons are raised with pressure.
Brown household is the worst, man.
There's always pressure. There's different kinds of pressure, Absolutely. But there is pressure. I think the difference that I do see is that brown sons get that pressure much later on in their lives. Yeah. Daughters have that pressure, but not the money pressure. It's more the marriage pressure for like their entire life. Her entire life revolves around getting married. And Absolutely. That's why I feel like a lot of girls now, especially guys, young brown boys get married because they want to get married. Young brown girls are getting married because their parents want them to get married.
Yeah,
I think that is changing. I do want to mention that's changing. 100% changing. But I still see that happen a lot. Like Absolutely. Girls are still getting pressured. They're not forced.
And the one thing that parents do is, hamesha pata hai. They don't tell like why. They don't communicate. This is the worst thing in brown parents. They don't tell you what is it, like why is it. Bas hame bakaya di na bas chup. Hame sab pata tumhe kuch nahi pata. And they start thinking yahan hame sab mein kuch nahi pata. And then they go like tum logon ne wo duniya nahi dekhi, aapne dekhni nahi di. That's one thing that they like always like yell at their daughters like tumne duniya nahi dekhi, tumhe nahi pata bahar ka, aapne bahar bheja nahi usko. आपने उसको बाहर जाने नहीं दिया. नहीं, लड़कियां बाहर पढ़ने नहीं जा सकती. ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा. ठीक, आपका बेटा ये सब नहीं कर रहा. आपके बेटा भी तो बाहर जाकर गुलछड़े उड़ा रहा ना, वो उसको भी तो रोको. Like, नहीं वो कर सकता है, कुछ बात नहीं. Like, this is one thing I really don't like about brown parents. They're unfair towards like their daughters. The son can do whatever, the daughter can't. I found my son smoking. Oh shit, बेटा दोबारा नहीं करना. If I found my daughter smoking, holy shit, like belt. Yeah, it's worse. Like it's unfair. I think it should be fair. You need to communicate with your kids. You need to be there for them. you see these white people like raising their kids, like you're like, oh, how cringe. I actually prefer that. Like I would do the same thing. Like if my kid's like, oh my mom, like there's like a monster like under my bed. Beta जिन दिन कुछ नहीं होता आलू गोली पड़ के सो जाओ. Like, white people are like, come with me. We're gonna go and like face the fears. They take their kids, they put them behind their back so that they know like I'm protecting you. They show them the whole thing of they could see there was nothing. It's just wind, and that's how white people like grow up, like believing oh it's just probably the wind. Like we hear a noise at night, we're like, jinn. Oh my god. White people are like, it's probably the wind because their parents were there. They're like, oh let me show you. There's no ghost under your bed. There's no ghost in the closet. Our parents are like, कुछ नहीं होता सब आयतल कुर्सी पढ़ के सो जाओ. Like, एक सेकंड अगर कुछ नहीं होता तो आप आयतल कुर्सी पढ़ने को क्यों कह रहे हैं? मतलब कुछ है. और वो क्या है? And then the jinn stories and everything for like parents need to communicate to their kids.
Yeah. Girls are nicer, so whatever opinion I am sharing to my group of girl friends, they will all like kind of support me, agree with me. They would
Without meaning it.
Yeah, without actually trying to be like, is that actually the right advice that I'm giving to this person?
Yes, man. They're just like, yes, yeah, go girl, like, go get that bag, girl, like,
Yeah.
Wait, but my CEO asked me to sleep with him. Go get that bag, girl. Don't worry about that. Like what? I'm just saying they can even like cheer up extreme measures. They can be like, as long as like you're winning, girl, like you can go get done whatever you want.
No, okay, not to that extent.
No,
I
it's
would
an extreme measure.
But yeah, it is true that like because I know it's harder
The thing I'm trying to say is they support your delulu. Like you're delusional. I'm with you, girl. Like a guy says the same thing, bro. Like, are you stupid or something? Like I give you my example. I told some people certain things. Like, bro, cut this shit. You cannot be doing this. But I didn't listen, obviously.
So then you were the Lulu.
Yeah, and this is one thing I would like to say for girls who are like worried about, oh, we might not be able to find someone. The fruit you eat, like, is written in your nasib even before the seed is planted. So don't worry about you're not going to be able to find someone. You're going to find someone who's written in your life. So just work on yourself till then.
Same for men.
Yeah, same for men. Yeah,
it's written for everyone. We're all gonna find our people. We just need to be working on ourselves.
Okay, this is like another good one. It's for guys. Like it's gonna show you how important like it is for guys to work on themselves. Like obviously, most of the things, the romantic things we get are from movies and stuff. And guys, you have to suffer to win, and that is how it happens in every movie as well. Like if you see a superhero movie. The superhero is suffering for 80% of the movie. And in the end, he wins. He suffers, he loses his job, he loses his girl, and all that kind of stuff happens to him. His uncle dies or something, or like something happens to him. He keeps suffering for like 80%, 90% of the movie. And in the end, he wins. Because that's how the way is. Now, why you need to work on yourself? Because let's take, for instance, Superman, you know, right? Mm-hmm. Superman, undercover, like, and his disguise was Clark Kent. Lois Lane did not want Clark Kent.
I don't know any of them.
Lois Lane is a reporter.
Okay.
For those who know, like they'll know, Lois Lane did not want Clark Kent. She wanted Superman. She only wanted Clark Kent when she found out that he was Superman. Same with Spider-Man. The Mary Jane, she did not want Peter Parker. I don't want this dorky-ass journalist. No, I don't want this photographer. Spider-Man, oh, my hero is here to save me. As soon as she found like, oh my God, he's Spider-Man? Now I want Peter Parker. They're not going to want you, like, that's how you want it to be. I want them to love me for me, but that's not how it's going to be. It's only going to be if you're a winner, if you can provide, if you're like some sort of superhero that can solve her problems. That was a good point.
But the thing is, like, you don't have to be a superhero by being like a millionaire. You can be a superhero by...
they just want someone better than you. Someone better than you.
Someone who they can trust in some capacity.
Yeah. If you have a problem that a billionaire can solve, then they're looking for a billionaire. Otherwise, whatever problems I have, he can solve all of them. Yeah, I want to be with him.
A lot of times, girls' problems is just they want to rant and they just want someone to listen.
I just learned this recently, that they don't want you to solve their problems. They just want you to listen.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't know that.
That's so true.
I thought every time a girl's telling me some problem, I'm like, okay, so here's what you... Can you shut the Bible? Can you just listen to me? I'm like, bro, I'm trying to help you. I'm like, no,
yeah, that's your problem. Like, it's not always about like giving...
But our intention is like, okay, you have a problem, let me solve it for you. So
yeah, of course.
They don't want that.
So yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I think a lot of women's problems has to do with emotional connection. Like they just want that emotional connection where if they're able to, openly talk about whatever they're going through to someone, openly share and just have that safe space, they're happy. You don't have to say anything, just be there to like listen. I'm sure they'll feel happy. I think that's what most women's problems are.
Okay, I'm gonna track back to like the feminism part. So like how feminism is like unfair. It started off as like woman equality and stuff, but it's not at all about that anymore. So you say like, oh, there's a social experiment carried out years ago. There's a video of it. You can pin it down if you want. Like you can use clips from it. That how men and women are treated in society or like looked up as. They talk about like, oh, men have the upper hand. Men don't have the upper hand. There's a lot of places where women have the upper hand just because they're women. There's a social experiment carried out. There's a guy who's like being aggressive to his girl in public. He's being aggressive. He's being abusive. He's yelling at her. He's like holding her tight and he's like probably like being physical with her. A lot of people come to her rescue. Hey, I'm going to call the police. Guys come to her rescue. Women come to her rescue. We're going to call the police. We're going to stay away from her, blah, blah, blah. And they reversed the roles. A woman was being abusive to the guy. She was being physical with the guy, aggressive with the guy. Nobody came to his help. They were looking, they were smiling, they were taking videos of it. Oh, look at that. Look at this man being like treated harshly by his girl. It's funny to them. So where's feminism now? Like it doesn't come anywhere near.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with feminism. This has just to do with those people because
it's about equality, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just feminism about equality. But the fact that those people didn't show up, is it women or is it also men?
It's both.
Men and women,
it's both. Yeah,
none of them showed up. It's just society.
So feminism is also filled with men. Why do you think feminism works? Because of men. It's because men believe in it. Well, all these feminism rallies, who do you think is standing on the lines of security? It's women? It's men. It's men protecting all the feminist rallies, all the things that they're yelling out.
But when you talk about women empowerment, when you talk about equality, you need men to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
You do not. It's not just about women.
And that's what I'm saying. Feminism cannot work without men.
Yeah.
You need men for that.
The only point that I'm saying is that your social experiment shows the problem in society that when it comes to like any kind of physical abuse, if it's towards a woman, people will like stand up for her and be like, oh my God. But if it's towards a man, they don't care because it's a man and he should be physically fit and fine or whatever. That's a problem with society. I don't think that's relevant to feminism.
No, that's the point that maybe you can help me understand. Is feminism just about like empowering the real feminism? Is it just about empowering
Let's
women?
just say equality. Because like, I think when you say feminism, you think it's only for women.
That's what they preach. And that's what
the radical feminists, like the extreme ones. But like, as you were saying, the real feminism or like, I don't even know what the real feminism is because I think the roots of feminism was not even for women. It was something against black women. I don't know the history of it, but
they wanted equal pay, like for equal time and effort.
Yeah, but even before that, there was another reason why feminism started, and it was actually against black women, something like that. I need to fact check this. So yeah, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to women empowerment and equality, which is what I would support.
Why is it only on biased things? We want equal pay. Okay, good, fair. We want to work in like corporate level.
Yeah.
We want to work in rooms with ACs. But the men who are like working under caves and working under construction, we don't want to go there. That's not where we want women to be. We just want women to be in offices and all that.
I think
where's the equality there?
So equality doesn't mean that every single job out there should is where I want to be in and I should have the opportunity.
That's bias.
No, how's that bias? Equality literally means that jobs where I know I can... Do you think I can contribute well if I go to a mining rig and I go there?
You can work in a corporate level because that's the kind of like education or like that's the kind of...
that's because I feel like I can't contribute.
If a woman who cannot like work, who does not have any sort of education, she can only do labor work. Why don't we send them into like mining caves?
Do you think it would make sense to send women to mining caves?
Okay, why wouldn't it? Aren't women strong and powerful?
But
Aren't
strong
they
and
equal to
powerful
men?
doesn't mean physically strong. That's
No, but they have tools for that. You don't have to like mine with your hands and like call it
a
on.
lot of okay. I mean, if women can do it, if it's like physically they can
There's
be
tools, yeah.
productive, then yeah, 100%. But I don't think women are good at that. What I'm trying to say,
It's not an art. It's not a craft. You just have to like pick up a few tools and like boom, it's gone.
bro, you literally said that men are physically stronger than
They are,
women.
yeah. But that
Regardless of anything, men will overpower women physically, right? If you compare an average man and an average woman, an average man will overpower a woman physically. That is biologically
but-
true. You cannot eliminate that, right?
when you're mining in caves, you don't claw out with your hands. You have tools for that. Tools can
Yeah,
be used
but
by
isn't it
anyone.
a physical? Okay, I don't know about mining. I don't know what is in mining, but I know it's a physical job.
Let me change it.
The thing about equality, what women are promoting when they talk about what I am promoting, because I do believe that women should have the right to work, is just the fact that women should have the right to work.
Absolutely.
We should not live in a society where when you get married, before the marriage, the man is like, yeah, it's fine. And then after the marriage, the man and his parents are like, why is this woman working? She should be staying at home.
Absolutely.
I don't want to live in that kind of a society. If you had a conversation where the woman wanted to work, then what is wrong with her wanting to work? I think that's where the quality part comes in.
No, I agree with you with that. I'm saying like let's just.
Not every job is for a man and not every job is for a woman. For instance,
Oh, okay. So a guy can go like into mining caves and stuff, but like a woman shouldn't.
physically, do you think that it would make sense?
Let me change the job.
For instance, construction workers, where you're building things, a woman, let's say a woman goes, okay? Let's say a woman goes and starts working there, okay? Do you think I'm not even talking about her health. I'm not talking about her health. I'm just talking about the quality of her work. Like, she would probably be like 10 times slower than the other men.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for the woman
Okay,
to
so
go.
let me change the job. You've seen people being a plumber.
Okay.
One woman be like, okay, I want to be a plumber. Yay, I can be a plumber.
Like, like, what is the argument here?
No,
That
let's
this
say-
is
let's
why
say- let's
there's
say-
no equality?
No. I'm saying like when it comes to equality to vote is fair. Equality to equal pay is fair. Equality to having your own choice to do whatever you want is fair.
Equality to work?
Yeah, equality to work, like whatever like you want is fair.
Yeah,
But
okay.
when we talk about equality to work, we only talk about like office jobs. Equality to work in office jobs, equality to work like high level paying jobs.
No, okay, high level paying. See, if you're talking about, obviously it's wrong when if women are just like, oh, I will only work if I get to be paying, if I get paid 300,000
That's
per
what I'm
month.
talking about.
Obviously that's wrong. Like that's,
Yeah, I think we're like equality in that.
that's like the extreme. Like
Oh,
when we talk, like for instance, when I'm talking about equality, I'm not talking about, oh, I will only work if I get that job. If not, then I don't want to work.
No, yeah.
Obviously not. Like what I'm trying to say when women equality to work is that women should have the option to work. Like, and what does work mean? Whatever they can actually contribute
Absolutely.
physically and mentally.
When I went to before I went to Europe for medical, I went to Pakistan. Because everybody apparently told my dad, like, oh, it's best if he studies in Pakistan. So, like, I don't know why I do impressions. Anyways, so I went to Pakistan for an entrance exam. Before that, I had to get prepped. Because in Pakistan, for some reason, like, the exam format is, like, different. So, I joined this academy, and they were, like, all these 70% was girls in the academy, 30% was guys. I'm like, okay, sure, cool. And the professor would dismiss the girls first at the end of the class, and then he would be like, okay, the guys can go now. As a term of respect. Anyways, after there was this one day, he dismissed the girls, and one of the guy, he had a question, so the professor stayed with us, and he was helping out with the questions. And he looked at me, he's like, aren't you the kid who came from outside? Like from some Gulf country? I'm like, yeah, I came from Dubai. He was like, you're not gonna end up here. I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, it's hard to get like entrance like in Pakistan. I'm like, how hard could it be? He was like, what is your like percentage in your board exams? I was like, 88. He was like, yep, you're not getting. People with 98 struggle. They don't get into like government university. You'll probably get into private. Do you have money? I'm like, what kind of question is that? He's like, do you have money or not? I'm like me individually? He's like, what does your dad do? I'm like, yeah, he has his business. He goes, yeah, you have money. You can get into private universities. You're not going to get into like all this government universities. So I was like, okay, sure. He goes like, and you know what's the funny thing is? He started carrying on the conversation. I'm like, yeah, what's the funny thing? Please tell me. Yeah, he goes like, you see these girls, 80% of these girls are not going to be doctors. But 100% of these girls are going to end up in the university. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, these girls, they work their ass off. These are the girls that you're competing against. They will bring 99.99%. They work their ass off. They're going to join the medical university. By the time they reach third year, they'll get married. And marriage is the only reason that they join these universities. So they can be like, oh, ye doctor ban rahi hai, taaki achhe rishte aaye inko, and they can get married off. And all those seats will be left empty and go to waste. They're taking all these seats from you guys who will actually become a doctor and start working. But they do this because our society is like this. And I'm like, when did I ask you this? I was like, yeah, I'm asking you about like gravitational force. Why are you telling me this? I don't even know you. He's like, oh no, I'm just telling you, like, it's sad. It's just sad is what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, but still, when did I ask? And it's like, oh, okay, whatever. I came home and I told my dad. My dad was like, yeah, that's pretty sad, but what did you learn today? I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, yeah.
Okay, but then what do you think is the problem in this scenario? The problem is not that women...
Society.
The problem is that society is making women get married.
Exactly. I don't know what the hell is wrong with the parents. Like,
and also a lot of those girls, it's not that they went into medical because of rishta. Of course, that could be a reason, but a lot of those girls actually wanted to be doctors. And they thought that if they went into medical, they probably like medicine, whatever, they're really smart, whatever, they'll end up being doctors. And then they could potentially get married. So they thought that they can get into medicine and delay their marriage a little bit so that they can at least become something.
Yeah, some girls do that. But parents are like, no, it's just baar baar nahi milte, this and that, tu shaadi kar lo, boom, gone.
Yeah.
And then later, 5-10 years later, like when the husband and wife get into an argument, the husband goes like, what are you? Tum ho kya hai?
And then they just devalue the woman.
Absolutely.
And then that devaluation of women is passed on to the son as well, passed on to the children. They see that as well. They see that disrespect towards women.
It's it's 50-50. Sometimes like they see their mother get treated bad and they think to themselves, I'm not going to treat another like woman like that.
What do you think are the top 4 causes of divorce in the US? There's not a lot of information of India and Pakistan, but in the US, what are the top 4 causes of divorce?
Lack
of tolerance. I think number 3 is too much arguing, conflict. Is that related to tolerance?
Yeah.
Okay, number 3 is that. Okay, next.
I guess like different ideologies, like maybe she wants freedom and he's like, oh no, this and that, different, I don't know, mentalities.
I think that's the same in arguing and conflict. Okay. So number 3.
I want to say a crazy one, like they turn out to be gay or something. Because that happens.
But that's not the top 5. Okay, what else? It's like easy ones. Like,
really?
Yeah, like
they're like each other's parents or something.
No, I don't think white people would have.
I think this is about white people.
This is US. Yeah.
Oh, cheating.
Yeah, number 2 is cheating.
Yeah, cheating. Oh, white people.
In India and Pakistan, cheating is also one of the top 5.
Yeah, but reasons. White people do it proudly.
Yeah, they probably do it more.
You said white people immediately are cheating. Anyways, drinking problems, issues, mental health issues.
No. Number 2 is cheating, infidelity. Number 3 is too much conflict and arguing.
Okay.
Next.
How many are there?
Okay, let's only do 4. So you have 1 and 4 left.
Number 1, what could it be?
Think of something like, this is something that you brought up like this entire conversation.
Money?
Yeah.
Oh
money.
My God.
Finances is number 4. It's number 4.
That's going to be number 1.
So what do you think number 1 is? Number 2?
If it's a silly one, like I'm going to...
It's not silly. It just shows the mindset of people there. So number 1...
Non-monogamy? Having multiple partners?
No.
Okay, yeah. The only white people that do craziest shit. Anyways,
I mean, that's like Muslim men as well. Like,
no. But they back up with religion. Oh, Islam mein allowed, but unke to Islam mein allowed nahi hai. But they still do it. Anyways.
Okay, so number 1, the number 1 cause of divorce in the US is lack of commitment. Okay, It sounds like it's so obvious, right? Like commitment. But when you think about it, and this is my theory, right? Like, as I was saying, 85% of relationships where you're dating the person, 85% of dating relationships break up, right? So you're building this mindset where you're dating someone just to try them on. If you like it, if you don't, go to the next, go to the next, go to the next.
Actually, yeah. For our people, I think it's sad because, like we said before, women just like they choose to stay in the abusive marriage. They can't do anything about that because of family reputation, or they have kids. Where the kids gonna go, or they're financially like dependent on the man. So there's like a lot of factors that like bring in. That's just sad. It should be higher. It might sound crazy saying that, but like I would rather like you be happy by yourself than be with a toxic person.
Yeah. That's why like the stats, even though the stats show that the divorce is so low, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. So it's so important to like, because I've had conversations with people on the show who say like, you know, we have the lowest divorce rate in the world. So our marriages are better than the Western marriages. I don't think that's necessarily
true. Your marriages are the worst. Yeah, our marriages like are the worst. Like you see so many couples and like you're like, oh man, what's going on there? Like, oh, and like these brown uncles who think it's like funny to make fun of their wives in a crowd. You've seen those kind of uncles?
Oh my god, all the time.
Yeah, what the hell? I'm like, well, you think that's funny? Like, and until they say something, they go like,
how dare you? Yeah, I think respect comes both ways.
First, yeah.
But then what do you think of the US 50% then?
I think their reasoning is crazy. That's why.
Reasoning?
If it was like, oh, it's an abusive marriage, and then they like part ways, but the first like you gave me like it's crazy reasons.
Yeah.
Lack of commitment and all that stuff. Cheating is okay. Yeah, you can leave the person.
Yeah, you have to leave them.
But apart from that, like it's the whole stuff.
Yeah, I think like what we are seeing in our society is two extremes. The US is one extreme and India and Pakistan is one extreme. Even though Pakistan and all is changing, I'm sure. But it's still the extremes.
Where do you think Pakistan is going? It's becoming better or worse? I think it's becoming worse.
Really?
Yeah, it's getting worse. Every day, like, I hear, like, crazy stories and I'm like, what the hell? And like, hey, Pakistan mein sab bhi hota hai. They're like, bro, Pakistanis are like, tumhe nahi pata Pakistan mein kya hota hai? You think you've seen everything? Like, you've seen nothing.
Bro, you know the divorce story that I was talking about before we started in my family? When we told like people in Pakistan, they were all like, this is normal for us, like this happens all the time. We're like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, this is normal.
Yeah, in Pakistan it's being normalized now. Everyone's just getting divorced and stuff. And
but not just about divorce, just about like, I guess the mindset of people, you know, stealing stuff and all of that nonsense.
I have seen like posts of women like celebrating their divorce. What do you think about that? Obviously, let's just say like the girl comes out of an abusive marriage. Oh, she's free. She's celebrating it. She's posting on social media.
Like, what does celebrating mean? Like, she's just being...
She's having a party. She's like, you know, like the whole balloons and cakes and everything. Everyone's dancing and everything. Yeah, it's my divorce party.
I think like it is crazy. Of course, it's crazy to think about because why do we think it's crazy? Because it's... Obviously, because it's not normal, right? Yeah. Like, it's not normalized.
I think divorce is a sad thing.
It is a sad, 100%, of course. Do you think that woman was not sad? She went through such a hard relationship. Do you think she wasn't sad?
She was happy about coming out of it, but I don't think you should still celebrate it. Just keep it private. Okay, good.
Yeah, I think, like, personally, I would always keep something like that private, 100%. But, like, I don't want to bash on women for doing that because I understand, because I don't know what kind of relationship they had, and probably it was such a huge moment for her to like come out of such a toxic relationship. So yeah, but even then, like, celebrate is kind of crazy, I guess. But yeah, I don't want to comment. Okay, let's talk about long distance relationships.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What do you think about long distance relationships?
Okay, I'll tell you something later. Okay. Long distance relationships are hard, and most of the times they end up in breaking up.
Yeah. Do you know what percentage of long distance relationships break up?
I want to say.
Can you guess?
I want to say more than just normal relationships. I want to say 90.
80%. 80% of long distance. Yeah. Close, very close. Yeah. Who do you think cheats more? We're talking about cheating.
Men.
Who do you think cheats more?
Men, but women are catching up now.
Yeah,
Yeah, 10,
spot
20,
on.
10, 20 years ago, men were the only culprits in everything that was wrong in relationships, but now women are catching up slowly.
Yeah, it's spot on. Men cheat 7 times more than women. 7%. Yeah, men are 7% more likely
Oh
to
my
cheat than women.
God.
But I think the recent study done showed that women are catching up.
Yeah, women are catching up. Women are
Yeah,
getting
which is
crazy.
sad. Like, cheating in general is sad in society. Now we're all doing
The
it.
thing is, like, every person I meet, they're like, bro, मेरे साथ धोखा हो गया. Every single person is like, मुझे धोखा मिल गया. I'm like, okay, हर एक कोई धोखा खा रहा है, धोखा दे कौन रहा है? Like, who's the, everyone's gonna like show themselves as like, oh, I was the angel in the relationship.
So just going back to this point of sacrifice that we were talking about. So there was this interesting study done that looked at like 2,000 marriages. And what they found was that if a wife develops a serious illness, if a wife gets seriously ill, okay, she gets super sick, she's 624% more likely to get divorced than if the husband was sick. So men are more likely to divorce their wife if they're like seriously ill, versus if a man was seriously ill, the woman is more likely to stay in that relationship. How do you feel about
I
that?
think that's depressing, and I've actually come across such a case. We had this relative, not relative, like a family friend, you could say. She was really happy in her marriage. They were like not having kids. For some reason, they couldn't have kids, but the husband still loved her because it was a love marriage. He loved her for 10 years. Somehow she got diagnosed with breast cancer. And I don't know how to say it. Like they chopped it off. I don't know how to say they chopped it off.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so she went through a procedure, and then her husband was like no longer attracted to her and stuff, and she started getting depressed. To a point, she started like plucking her own hair, and the more stressed and depressed she got, the more like unattractive she looked, and her husband like was least interested in her. Eventually, he ended up leaving her, and she got on pills and stuff. She got more depressed, and
That's so sad.
yeah, there's no sort of help you could have gotten.
That's so sad.
So I think that's really.
So why do you think this happens though? Like, why are men more likely to divorce the woman if she's seriously ill?
I think men are more likely to fall in love with what they see.
Hmm.
Yeah, women are more likely to fall in love with what they hear.
Hmm.
So like if it's like, oh, like I like what I see. You've heard that term, right? I like what I see. So that's like one thing. Another thing that's just stupid. I encourage men to like be in love with personality. If someone like is still a good person at heart, if they're still like, if you love them, like truly, truly love them, people remember their wives even after death. So she's just ill. She's still here, bro. Like, stay by her side.
If you truly love
Yeah, the least you can do is stay by her side, and you're like deciding on leaving them, and then you expect someone else to stay by your side when you're sick. Like, that's hypocritical.
Yeah.
That's just sad.
Yeah, I think there was a survey done that showed what men look for in women is physical attractiveness more than anything else, and what women look for in men is financial
That's
status.
why you see all these fat, bald men, old men with like younger, like pretty wives. I'm like,
That's
it's so
what I'm saying.
unfair.
It's not even unfair, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's so weird because like you can clearly tell the man is there just for her looks and
She's
for
there
her
just for her money.
her
His
physical
money.
stuff, and the woman is just there for the money. It's just such a disgusting dynamic to be in. So yeah, I think men look for physical attractiveness a lot more than
that is
anything
true,
else.
yeah.
So in that way, why I brought up sacrifice was because I feel like women are more likely to sacrifice certain things in that relationship, because when a man is seriously sick or ill, obviously she'll have to sacrifice certain things, right? Like maybe he looks different.
Absolutely.
He physically looks different. He acts different, but the woman...
I mean, men are like nowadays more likely like losing hair and like balding and stuff. Like then they have to stay with their bald husband, and they're like, oh man, like, and they go to these family gatherings, and their friends, their husbands, they have this good looks and stuff, and they're like, shit, man, my husband is bald. And you're just sad. Like I feel sad for the girl. I'm like, oh shit, man, I wish like I could do something. I'd groom him, but like I can't have him grow hair.
Wait, bro. No, but I think a lot of women like bald heads.
Okay, I don't know about this, but I know about like women like dad bods. So why are we busting our ass in the gym?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like, oh no, it's fine. Like, a little bit of like tummy is fine. I'm like, what? Why are we busting our ass in the gym? Like,
No, like, of course you should be like... You should be fit, like, of course.
I
Like,
don't
you
know,
should be
yeah.
healthy, so go to the gym.
I don't know, like,
But
I feel
like,
yeah.
I don't know about this dad bod thing. I've not really heard.
It's a very like you should like look into it.
Oh,
You
okay.
can go to TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Like girls, like 9 out of 10, they choose like dad bods.
Like,
There's
what
like
is a dad bod?
an
Like, you just have a little belly?
yeah, a little belly, like a little like hairy arms, and like a little less groomed. But like you're just like still your personality is good, but your body is like an uncle type of a body, a dad type of a body. Like like if you look at me, would you be able to tell like I have kids?
No.
No, because like my physical appearance is in a certain way.
Yeah.
But if I had like a loss of hair, a little tummy and stuff,
Okay.
you'd be like, oh, he's probably a father.
Oh, okay.
Dad bod, yeah. So they like that.
That's weird.
There's YouTube videos like guys go up to girls like, on beach and they go like, would you prefer like a six pack or a dad bod? 9 out of 10 girls are like dad bod. I'm like, what?
No, but I think what girls don't like is when a man is too buff.
Yeah,
It's like, bro, like that's too extra. Like, I don't think people like those extreme gym freaks, but like, yeah, you should be fit. Now my question is about what do you think is the right age for marriage?
For men or women?
Okay, you can do both. Men first.
Okay, for men, I'm gonna say there's no right age. You can get married at 40 as well. This is something that happens in our society. It's fine. Like even at 40, you can find a girl who's 20.
No, but what is, even if in society,
an ideal age? I would say, and generally, it's good if you're like 28, 29
Okay.
for a guy.
And the girl?
The girl, 23, 24.
Okay. So why do you say that?
For girls.
For both.
For guy, I think because by that age, he must have established himself.
Got it.
And for girls, because women like age a little faster than men, and now this is like you want to have kids young, because when you have kids after like let's just say 30, there's a lot of issues in your body, and they just start getting worse. If you have kids young, then later you have time to maintain yourself and keep yourself healthy. Like let me give an example. Imagine a woman having a kid at 40 and a girl having a kid at 25. Who do you think is going to have more health problems? The one with 40, yeah. So just get married young. Like first finish your degree or whatever. Like make yourself like independent, and then you can get married. And whenever like you have kids, you'll be young and you can grow up with the kids. You can be like a Gen Z mom or whatever. You can have fun with your kids, and you'll see. Yeah, you'll still be healthy. Because like sometimes you see moms they can barely walk, and like, oh, like my mom is just like this. Like it's better to have like kids like early. Guys, since they're not carrying kids and their age has nothing to do with the marriage, it's all about their pockets, so they can marry later as well. But the ideal I would say 29. I wanted to be a young dad. When I was in university, I was like 17. I thought I'd get married by 25 and have my first child by like, no, I thought I'd get married by 24 and have my first child by like 26.
Oh my God.
I'm 26 now. I don't even have a girl. And I'm just like, so shit, I'm late.
No, you're not late.
Yeah, now I realize, oh my God, it's not that late.
Yeah, you're not late at all. Like, I think that's totally fine. But what were you saying that in society a man could get married when they're 40?
Yeah, it's looked up as like, oh, it's fine. He's 40. He has money, right? He can take care of you, right? Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
But a girl?
The girl has to be young. I don't know why it's looked at that way, but even like and the norm is that the guy has to be older than the woman. That has to do with the financial thing. But just because of this norm that the guy has to be older, the girl has to be younger, normally like girls get married at younger age to older men. But then people take it to extreme measures. Like they marry their daughters to like men who are like 10 years older.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
20 years.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
You see people 20?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's disgusting. I've seen that.
I mean, uncles and stuff?
Yeah,
Oh,
uncles marrying girls who are their daughter's age, or like it's insane. Ugh. Yuck. But yeah.
Okay, you're 22.
Two.
Would you marry a guy 33? 32?
I don't know. That's a lot.
He'd be okay, but there would be a lot of like difference in like ideologies.
Yeah.
He has a old mindset. You have the new mindset.
You haven't. I don't know. I think that's too old.
Okay, what's like the extent of an age you would be okay with marrying?
Like probably like 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. But I mean, I don't know, like anything
Anything could happen.
Yeah, anything could happen, but when I think about it, like right now at this stage, it just like that feels old to me. You know, someone in my in 30s, I feel like they're like my granddad, you know.
Wow.
No, but yeah, okay. But actually there was just coming back to what I wanted to bring up was that there was a study done to show what's the sweet spot of marriage, and it's actually late 20s to early 30s. So around 28 to 32 is the ideal age
for
of
guys.
Marriage generally.
Oh, okay.
Generally, but I know this study is done in the US, but what they looked at what relationships worked out the best, and it was between this age.
Okay.
And people who got married, the same study said that if the people who got married before mid-20s or got married after mid-30s, they were more likely to end up in divorce. So if you marry too young and if you marry too old as well, it's not good for the relationship. Why? Because you should be old enough to be mature enough to know, okay, this is just a random like puppy love, or if we're actually compatible.
I was gonna say that if you're before that age, then you've seen nothing.
Yeah.
And after that age, you've seen way too much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Exactly. So you should be old enough, but you should also be young enough to be able to change certain things about your habits, your lifestyle, your opinions, your make sacrifices. Because I feel like when people become too old as well, they don't want to change. They don't want to sacrifice as
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to compromise as much because they're like
their personality is
set
completed.
in their ways.
Yeah, it's built.
It's
There's
built.
no more growing for them.
Yeah, they're set in their ways. So that's what apparently this age is like the right way.
I didn't know that.
But I want to ask you about like specific countries, because there was a survey done asking Americans what they think is the ideal age for marriage. What do you think is the average age that Americans voted for?
31.
That's what I would think as well. So it's 26.5. That's the mean age. That's why 0.5.
You mean somebody picked like
haters
16 or 17 and then like it averaged on 26?
Oh, what? What? Sorry?
So somebody might have said 35, but obviously for like it, you said that 26.5 is the average, right?
Yeah, median age.
So somebody had to have said 17 or 18 for it to become like average in the middle.
No, but you can get 26.5 even if someone said 25, 27, 26. Right?
Then there have to be a lot of people who said
okay, I don't know how many people there are, but 26.5, that's the average age. Okay, and then what do you think was the average age people in India and Indonesia voted for?
India, I want to say like 50, 60. Because I know in Rajasthan they do that.
Okay, that's not most of India though.
Oh, okay. Indonesia. Indonesia is a Muslim country.
So think of like, it's more of a range.
Indonesia is a Muslim country. I'm going to say 21.
Okay, yeah, it was like under 25. So I think it's like 20 to 25 range. So that makes sense. Now, what do you think? Basically under 25. I think 25 is the cutoff. Now, what do you think Bangladeshis said is the best age to get married?
Oh, these Bengalis.
It's not actually crazy.
I'd say 26 as well.
Oh, wow. 21.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they said they prefer to get married younger. Well,
okay.
Do you think it's better to get married when you're young?
That depends. If like you have nothing more to accomplish, then yeah, just get married.
If you have nothing more to accomplish?
Like, let's just say like, there's this rich guy, he has a son. Okay. He sent his son to business school. He finished it by 2021. Now he like takes care of runs his dad's company.
You can get married.
Yeah. What more do you have to do?
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
So if I let you be for a few years, you're just going to end up in the wrong places. So just get married.
Yeah, that makes sense. But also I feel like these generational wealth where the father is really rich and the son just ends up in the business.
Inherited, yeah.
Of course, they can get married young, but a lot of these sons, they still don't have that responsibility, accountability. They're not mature enough to have that feeling of, okay, I'm going to be responsible. They still don't really know how to earn money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I do think that they should wait a little bit to like understand, or like their parents should.
That's the parents' responsibility.
Yeah, yeah. How long do you think someone should know each other? Or how long do you think a couple should know each other before they get married?
There's no answer for this. Sometimes you feel like you could know someone, but then one moment you could be like, oh shit, I've never known them. I don't even know who you are right now.
Yeah, it's very subjective, but there's numbers to everything.
If you're young, then I would say like get to know someone for at least like over a year.
Yeah.
But if you're like old, like around close to 30s, below or above, I'd say like 8 to 9 months is good enough.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because like people at that age, they're like done with the whole mind.
They're like mature enough.
Yeah,
they won't waste time on unnecessary.
Yeah, they're not gonna be like, oh, what's your favorite color? They're like, no, are you okay with this or not? Yeah, I am. Are you okay with this? Yeah, I am. Okay, let's get it done. They're not gonna, oh, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite movie? They don't care about that.
So actually, there was a study done on this. I'm bringing you studies.
I already studied that bit.
Okay, there was a study done on this, and a study showed that you should know your partner for 2 years, at least 2 years. The sweet spot is 2 years before you get married. If you're dating the person for around 5 years, 4 or 5 years, that relationship is not going to work out. Because I'm saying statistically, that's not going to work out. Why? Because they're taking too long. They probably they're not really sure of each other yet. So if by 5 years you're still not sure of each other,
yeah, what the hell are we
going to work out? If you take less than 2 years, it may also not work out because it's too little time.
Yeah.
So the sweet spot is apparently 2 years.
I said over 2 years at least.
Date your partner for 2 years before you get married. What do you think? What makes a relationship successful?
Understanding. Number one is communication. Second is understanding. But like number one, always, I'm always gonna push for communication.
Okay.
Just talk to each other. And if the other person is like, he is not open to communication, then abandon it.
Abandon him.
Yeah, abandon it. Like it could be a girl or the guy.
Communication is everything.
Number one.
Being able to really openly communicate with the other person is
number one is always going to be communication. And understanding, then is like honesty, and then there's like loyalty and all these things before, but number one is always going to be communication.
Yeah. And I think, so actually the research that I was going to bring up has to do with communication, but it has to do with the form of communication. Because what I mean by that is that a study showed that for every successful relationship, every time you are rude to the person, every negative interaction you have with your partner, you should have at least 20 positive interactions for that relationship to be successful. What does that mean? It means that every time you maybe say something slightly rude to the person, you roll your eyes at your partner. Even that is negative. Rolling your eyes at your partner.
You need to make it up with them.
If you give them 20 hugs, that makes up for that negative thing. So the ratio is 20 to 1. You need to have 20 positive interactions to 1 negative interaction for that relationship to statistically work out.
Oh my God. That's a lot. 20 hugs?
But that's the thing. Like, I think when I say this, people get shocked. Like, oh my God, 20 positive interactions. Like, I need to give her like a gift. I need to take
Why don't I just make a big effort that's equal to 20 like positive interactions?
No, that's not the same. That's the thing. I feel like people think positive interactions means like buying like the most expensive, Rolls Royce or Rolex for her. Like, obviously not. 20 positive interactions is actually just like these small things, like you compliment her. That's a positive interaction. You hug her, you show physical affection, you show some kind of affection, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever. That's a positive interaction. It's these little things that counts. And I'm not talking about just for the woman, I'm talking about for the man as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's just for women. I was like, oh shit, what do I get?
No, but yeah, that's what makes a relationship successful.
It's weird, but because I think men kind of need to go into depression for a certain period of time.
Oh.
You need to go through trauma.
Why?
You become a better fighter like when you get knocked down. You become like a millionaire when you've never had like something to eat. It's because men in general, like, you are not what happens to you, you are how you react to it.
Interesting.
So your life would be so much better if it was like worse in the beginning. You need to face rejections, you need to face failures and stuff, so that these become like the building blocks of your success. Like there's this saying, I think it was a random ass saying, but it's a, like I made a castle out of all the bricks you threw at me. Yeah, so like you need to go through suffering and pain for you to be like able to be mature.
Interesting. But you think men need that more than women?
Men need that. Women don't need it at all. I don't want women to go through any sort of pain, any sort of like, would you want your like kid to go through any sort of pain? No, you wouldn't. Like, you would still want to come home and your kid to run to you like, dad or mom, like, I'm home. Like, you see that innocence in their eyes. I want that to have like in women, to keep their innocence, to keep their femininity. Men, on the other hand, they kind of, for some period of time, they need to go through like extreme measures and extreme like stress for them to like be who they are. Because you know how they say like, what's that saying? I forgot. Like, it's stress builds diamonds, something like that.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah, well, okay,
yeah,
read that
I
one
don't
now.
know, but like stress is what.
Pressure builds diamonds. Yeah, pressure builds diamonds. That's what it is. So I think men do need to go through some things.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I think I don't know about like the word you use, trauma and depression. Like that's kind of crazy to think that men should go through depression.
Everybody has trauma. So you could either be a better man with trauma or like a nobody with trauma. People who fought wars and who conquered lands, you think they don't have trauma? The amount of people
That's the biggest trauma.
Absolutely, but that trauma helped them to keep going. You can either stop there and just like die, or like you can just keep going. You think like Vladimir Putin doesn't have trauma? Like, you think when he sleeps he doesn't have nightmares? Oh, of course he does, but like he still needs to keep going. He wakes up every day the same and he performs the same. You need to go through trauma. Otherwise, then you're just like a peach. You can get bruised easily.
Okay, I think we're done.
Oh my god, that was it.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. In the end, do you want to do like a cheers?
Oh yeah, sure.
Cheers.